What if I told you that one of baseball's greatest legends, a man who last played almost 60 years ago, was actually a pioneer of modern sports analytics? We're talking about Ted Williams, the Splendid Splinter. While today's baseball is filled with advanced metrics and high-tech training, Williams was meticulously analyzing his own craft with a scientific rigor that was decades ahead of its time. His obsessive pursuit of understanding hitting mechanics didn't just make him a Hall of Famer, it effectively wrote the foundational textbook for how we approach hitting science in baseball today. Let's dive into the mind of this hitting genius. First, for those unfamiliar, Ted Williams wasn't just a good hitter, he was often called the greatest hitter who ever lived. He played his entire career for the Boston Red Sox, famously batting .406 in 1941, a feat no one has accomplished since. His career numbers are staggering: 521 home runs, over 2,600 hits, and a lifetime batting average of .344. But beyond the stats, Williams was unique in his almost academic approach to hitting. He didn't just swing, he theorized, tested, and refined his technique with an intensity that bordered on obsession. His focus wasn't just on results, but on the how and why. Williams' groundbreaking insights were famously codified in his book, The Science of Hitting, first published in 1971. This wasn't just a memoir, it was a manifesto. Co-authored with sports writer John Underwood, the book broke down the complex act of hitting into understandable, repeatable principles. It wasn't about feel or natural talent alone, it was about geometry, physics, and strategy. For the first time, a legendary player explicitly detailed the mechanics and mental approach necessary for consistent success at the plate. It became, and still is, a Bible for aspiring hitters and coaches alike. What set Williams apart was his insatiable curiosity and relentless pursuit of knowledge about hitting. He studied himself, other hitters, and pitchers with an almost scientific detachment. He dissected every swing, every pitch, every outcome. He believed hitting was the hardest thing to do in sports, but also the most solvable, if approached correctly. This wasn't just practice, it was research. He would talk to engineers about bat aerodynamics, mathematicians about angles, and doctors about hand-eye coordination. This cross-disciplinary approach is precisely what we see in modern sports science today. One of Williams' most famous contributions was his detailed analysis of the strike zone. He didn't just see it as a rectangular box, he divided it into 77 smaller sections. Based on his studies, he knew that pitches thrown in certain zones gave him a much higher probability of success, both for hitting for average and for power. His ideal zone was a specific fat pitch area, roughly 11 inches by 2 inches. If a pitch wasn't in that area, he wouldn't swing, even if it was a strike. This selective approach maximized his chances and minimized his weaknesses. This wasn't just intuition, Williams actually assigned batting averages to each of those 77 zones. He figured he could hit .400 on pitches in his sweet spot, but only .200 on pitches on the outer edges of the strike zone. This is a rudimentary form of weighted on-base average, WOBA, or expected batting average, XBA, before those terms even existed. He understood that not all swings or all contact points were equal in value. Modern analytics, with tools like StatCast, now give us precise probabilities for every pitch location, validating Williams' foresight. Williams also had a deep understanding of the sweet spot of the bat, the optimal point of contact. He knew that hitting the ball precisely with this part of the barrel was crucial for maximizing exit velocity and creating line drives. He spent countless hours practicing to ensure consistent contact with this specific area. This attention to detail on the physics of impact is directly mirrored in today's analytics, where metrics like barrel percentage track how often a hitter makes ideal contact, combining launch angle and exit velocity for optimal results. Williams was quantifying this instinctively. Before video analysis systems, Williams developed his own advanced pitch recognition techniques. He trained his eyes to pick up subtle cues from the pitcher's grip, arm angle, and release point within fractions of a second. His goal was to identify the pitch type and trajectory as early as possible, giving him more time to decide whether to swing and where to make contact. This focused visual training is a cornerstone of modern hitting instruction, often employing high-speed cameras and pitch simulators to replicate game conditions and enhance a hitter's ability to see the ball. Williams broke down the biomechanics of the swing with incredible detail. He emphasized a powerful weight transfer, starting from the back leg, through the hips, and into the bat. He understood that rotational force was key to generating bat speed and power. His detailed descriptions of coil, stride, and hip rotation laid out a blueprint for a technically sound swing. Modern biomechanical analysis, using motion capture and force plates, confirms these principles, showing precisely how energy is transferred from the ground up through the body to the bat. Unlike many power hitters who focus on pulling the ball, Williams advocated for using the entire field. He believed that good hitting meant being able to hit pitches wherever they were located, whether inside, outside, up, or down. This adaptability not only made him harder to pitch to but also allowed him to maintain a higher batting average. This all-field approach is now a hallmark of advanced hitting philosophies, as analytics show that hitting the ball to all fields with authority leads to more consistent production and fewer shifts from defensive alignments. Williams instinctively understood the importance of bat speed. He constantly worked on drills to increase the velocity of his swing, knowing that more bat speed equated to more power and more time to react to pitches. He emphasized compact swings that generated maximum speed. Today, bat speed is a quantifiable metric tracked by radar and sensor technology, directly correlating with exit velocity and home run potential. Williams' focus on this fundamental aspect of hitting showcases his intuitive grasp of physics long before the advent of precise measurement tools. Perhaps the most direct link between Williams and modern analytics was his meticulous record-keeping. He kept detailed notebooks on every pitcher he faced, noting their tendencies, their best pitches, their weaknesses, and how they reacted in different situations. This was his personal scouting report and data spreadsheet combined. He was collecting and analyzing data on opponent tendencies to gain an edge, a practice now standard in every MLB organization with vast databases and predictive models. Williams was doing it with a pen and paper, but the principle was identical. Williams' science of hitting wasn't just theoretical, it inspired practical changes. The rise of the batting cage, as a dedicated space for repetitive, focused practice, owes much to his philosophy. He believed in thousands of swings, deliberately aimed at reinforcing proper mechanics. This went beyond simple batting practice. It was about creating a controlled environment for experimentation and refinement. This principle of deliberate practice in a simulated environment is now fundamental to athlete development across all sports, enhanced by technology to provide instant feedback. Let's compare Williams' approach to modern analytics. Then, it was intuitive, observational data collection and analysis. He was the computer, crunching probabilities in his head. Now, we have vast digital databases, StatCast, Hawkeye, and machine learning algorithms. But the core objective remains the same: to reduce uncertainty, identify optimal strategies, and improve performance through quantifiable insights. Williams didn't have the tech, but he understood the data-driven mindset perfectly, recognizing that better information leads to better decisions at the plate. While the terms launch angle and exit velocity are buzzwords of the analytic era, Williams instinctively grasped their importance. He always sought to hit line drives, understanding that a hard-hit ball with a medium trajectory was most likely to result in a hit or extra bases. He emphasized hitting the bottom half of the ball to create backspin and lift, essentially engineering optimal launch angles for power. He knew that squibbers and pop-ups were bad outcomes, even if he couldn't measure their exact velocities or angles. His fat pitch zone was designed to optimize these very outcomes. Today, professional and amateur hitting labs are direct descendants of Williams' scientific approach. These facilities are equipped with high-speed cameras, motion capture systems, bat sensors, and ball flight monitors like TrackMan or Rapsodo. They meticulously measure every aspect of the swing and ball flight: bat speed, attack angle, launch angle, exit velocity, spin rate, and more. This granular data allows coaches to pinpoint flaws and optimize swings with unprecedented precision, providing hitters with objective feedback that Williams could only dream of gathering. Williams' focus on body mechanics, his weight shift, hip rotation, and hand path, is now the realm of advanced biomechanics in baseball. Researchers use sophisticated models to analyze muscle activation, joint angles, and kinetic energy transfer throughout the swing. The goal is to maximize efficiency, power, and consistency, while minimizing injury risk. Every intricate detail that Williams described in his book is now quantifiable and visualized, allowing for personalized training plans tailored to each athlete's unique physiology. He laid the conceptual groundwork for this entire field within baseball. The key takeaway is that modern technology doesn't replace Williams' principles, it amplifies them. The data points we gather today, launch angle, exit velocity, bat speed, barrel percentage, are all objective measurements of the concepts Williams understood intuitively and taught subjectively. His science of hitting provided the framework, and today's analytics provide the precise, granular data to validate, refine, and accelerate that framework. Every swing analysis software, every hitting simulator, every data-driven coaching session traces its lineage back to his analytical mind. The entire analytics movement in baseball, often associated with Michael Lewis's Moneyball, might seem far removed from a legendary hitter from the 1940s. But Williams' work demonstrates that the spirit of analytics, using data and scientific method to gain an advantage, has always been present. He simply applied it to the individual act of hitting with an unparalleled dedication. His approach to hitting was a microcosm of what analytics later became for entire teams and organizational strategies. He proved the value of breaking down complex tasks into measurable components. Ted Williams left an indelible mark on baseball, not just with his incredible talent, but with his intellectual curiosity. His Science of Hitting remains a timeless text because its core principles are fundamentally sound, rooted in physics and geometry. He was the original hitting scientist, dissecting the game with a precision that anticipated the data-driven era we live in now. So, the next time you hear about launch angle, exit velocity, or strike zone optimization, remember the man who, with just his bat and his brain, laid the scientific foundation for it all.